Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of the Anime Cavalcade. Of course, it is your host Rize, and we are going to start another week of anime that we have watched. And before we get into the whole episode, I wanted to at least make some addendums or changes and just some updates. First of all, I looked into it, and unfortunately, Shirley Ann has been delayed by a couple of weeks. It will be back next week, which is good, and we will be able to talk about it next week. But Shirley Ann has been apparently delayed for 2 weeks. Last week was the first week is delayed, and this week is another week that has been delayed. So unfortunately, we don't have much Shirley Ann going on. But like I said, August 23rd will be when the new episode is out, and by that time, when I start the next recording for next week, we will have that episode out and Shirley Ann will come back. The other thing I do want to talk about is there's going to be some anime that we aren't going to talk about today because we're going to be behind. So let me explain it. So I record all of these videos on Saturdays, right? I record these videos on Saturday, and not all of the anime come out in Tide. Two in particular, Gachiakuta and To Be Hero X, come out on Sunday. And it does kind of get in the way of me editing the stuff that I need to edit, because I like to have one day where I can record the podcast and another day. Let me calibrate my stuff real quick. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So, like I said, oh God, I'm all over the place. All right, but like I said before, I myself like to have time to record, and I need to make decisions in order to keep me sane, so I can at least be productive, but also have some time to myself. So any anime from here on out that comes out on Saturdays, just know we are going to be behind on them. So unfortunately, this week we'll still be talking about Gachiakuta because I was confused. I thought that the newest episode for Gachiakuta last week didn't come out, but I guess it did. Or maybe it didn't. But we also will not be talking about the To Be Hero X episode, unfortunately, because that comes out on Sunday, and I record these on Saturday. Now, we will talk about it next week. We will just be an episode behind, so I hope people understand. So there won't be a video this week, and there won't be a video next week, but just know that we will talk about them, which doesn't mean we're not talking about any spring anime, which is kind of weird for us. But yeah, we still have a bunch of anime to talk about. We still got 10 full things, so let's go ahead and let's talk about them. And the first anime we're going to be talking about is the newest episode of Dandadan, which is episode 7. And unlike the previous episode 7, this one was pretty simple for the most part. At the beginning, starts off with Okaroon and Momo's friends going to see Momo at her work. And that was honestly kind of cute because we saw them interact and stuff like that. And we saw Momo and Okaroon be actually quite cute. Okaroon wanted to wait for Momo. Momo looking at the clock, seeing what time, hoping to wait for Okaroon. He's not waiting there, but he does run, and they hold hands and yada yada yada. They're a cute couple, man. Okaroon and Momo, I love the way that they're actually building the relationship in the sense of it's there, and I don't know if both of them are believing it or interacting with it, but it's cute. I really like it. I really like how they're handling it. I really like how they're presenting it. I like it a lot. It's weird at a point where it's they're still very friendly, but they're not quite there yet. But I like the progression. It does feel like we're progressing in that way, which most romance anime don't even do that much. So you know what? I appreciate it. I like it, and I like what it's doing. But a lot of this episode did have to surround around Gigi and him trying to take the control of the Night Eye. He does do a good job of it, as it seems like he does have some control where he can now handle lukewarm water. But of course, when Momo and Okaroon get home, Ira goes and splashes water all over him. He ends up coming out, almost actually hurting Momo, but luckily Momo, was drinking hot water, had some hot water in her mouth, and she was able to use it. So that was good. That was good, quick little thinking, but obviously everyone's kind of acknowledging the fact that they can't really sustain this anymore. They can't avoid Gigi from cold water all of the time, and they have to do something, and they have to do something quicker, and it's to the point where they probably can't have Gigi having the oh my god, I don't even want to call it the evil eye inside of him anymore, which does suck. It does suck because last episode we see Gigi very sad over the fact that he couldn't do it. So I get it. I get Gigi's sadness. I get Gigi's upsetness, but hey, man, it's gotta happen. Now I don't think it will, obviously, because if Ira and Momo and Okaroon all have powers, I assume either either something will happen with Gigi in the same way with Okaroon, where Gigi will be able to take the powers and strip it away from the actual entity of the evil eye, or the evil eye will just allow him to use the powers in some way, shape, or form. But obviously everyone has their own issues and own problems, and Okaroon is now taking his own path to try to get stronger, try to get like better at using his powers, try to get stronger in order to actually protect Momo and everybody else, specifically Momo, because we know why that boy wants to protect Momo. But he goes to the Shrimp says no. And then Turbo Granny actually was like, listen, you have my powers, so you should be able to use it. And this is where I got very interested in the episode, because they do some type of music theory. It's a music theory I feel like is loose here. But where Turbo Granny is like, you're operating at a 2-switch beat. Ira, with her powers and the way it works, she can operate at a 4-switch beat. And the evil eye can also operate at a 4-switch beat. But the way he's able to change and move and all that, he's actually operating like it seems like a 4-switch, but if you look at it close, it's a 10-switch beat. So it's like you need to basically be able to move fast, move your body at like a faster tempo in order to actually like use your moves. And I guess by the end of it, they have all these musical ghosts come to help, which, two music-based episodes. No, not based episodes, but 2 episodes revolving around music in 2 weeks. Fuck yes. This is awesome. I love it. I love the music episodes. They're great. They're awesome. I like the way they're building it and how they're using the theory of like beats and stuff like that in order to fight. That's the same way I beat the dancer in Dark Souls 3, but that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. But that's a flex I like to talk about. But either way, this episode was fun. Honestly, surprisingly, there wasn't much to talk about this. It can be summarized in like a couple of episodes because something like super big happened and nothing like super impressive. It definitely feels like these next couple of episodes, we're going to be building up to to some fight with like the evil eye. So I assume that Okaroon and Ira will have their training montage. Gigi will probably have his feelings towards everything, and Momo will probably go through his stuff as well, and then they'll all be able to fight the evil eye, and they'll all be stronger because of it, and they'll all be good. But yeah, other than that, not much to write home about this episode. It was a fine episode. It wasn't like anything bad. Just not much happened. It was definitely like a building block episode, which is fine. You have to have those sometimes in a season. Next anime on our list that we're going to be talking about is My Dress Up Darling, and this was a really cute episode. The first part of it I thought was like, it's kind of weird, but also that is kind of Japan in a nutshell. But, honestly, overall, I think this episode was cute. The first episode all have to surround around Marin and her, I guess, gaining a little bit of weight because of how much food she was eating. Because they do track it in the show where she was eating the leftover food that she got from Gojo, and then she was leaving her leftover, like another set of leftovers. She was basically eating like 5 meals a day, and they were actually big meals, to the point where she was eating 50,000 calories. Now, as a big man, I cannot talk. I am a very large man. I am a very fat man. I will be completely honest about that. I'm transparent. There are very many videos on my channel and other people's channels of me being a very fat man. And I sat there and I was like, I feel like we're being too harsh. But also, it's kind of like the world of modeling. I think they were trying to mimic the fact, because at one point everyone that works with her in the modeling, from the hairstylist to her own agent, was definitely questioning her a lot. But then there's other people who were like her friends and Gojo that like didn't really know. I guess that is just that world and how that world operates. I thought it was whatever, but I guess she also couldn't fit in her cosplays and she felt bad about that. But to each their own. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, right? I actually do also like how Gojo is actually freaked out. He gets freaked out twice in this episode. Once when he finds out how much Marin eats, where he like tracks it. It's like, oh no, the food that I give you use that for breakfast, right? It's like, no, I kind of heat it when I get home. It's like, wait, so you eat that and then you eat whatever that's left over on top of other stuff, and then you get food from lunch, and then you get food for dinner, and then you come to our house, eat food, and then you take that food home and you eat late at night, and it repeats the process. And it's just like, oh, if we're tracking that, you are eating a lot. Which is like, again, not bad, but it's also one of those things where it's like, okay, we see the culprit now. But the second part of this, and honestly, it is cute, and it is literally the epitome of why I love this show so much, where Marin gets the loose socks that a lot of, I'm gonna butcher it. What are they called? I always want to call them like Gyaros, but I don't think that's the right terminology. But you know what I mean? I think it was like the 90s style, loose socks, like hella makeup, darker like toned skin type stuff. I forget what it's called, but you know what style I'm talking about, Gyaro or whatever it is. I think it's called. But she gets the loose socks, and they actually do look kind of cute on her. But well, a part of it is that obviously because she's on this diet, she needs to lose the weight in order to fit back into the cosplays. So Gojo doesn't have to resize all of them. She wants to take the small pictures with like some of the stuff that she has. And so she brings out a camera, and we find out she got the DSL camera that she always wanted, which is good. And this is where it becomes cute, because you see Gojo and you see him get so excited about the camera. You see them take pictures, and they have a really, really good scene of just Gojo walking with the camera and him taking pictures of Marin. It's actually super stylized. I love the way that they did it, because it's the camera view versus the actual view of the people, like the actual like view that we see on like a day-to-day basis in the anime. So like that was really cool. I like that touch. I really did. And they took some very good pictures, and you know, for the clips and compilations channel, oh, you know damn well we gonna eat good tonight with those. you know damn well one of those pictures in this episode is gonna be the thumbnail, hands down. I promise you that. But yeah, it kind of ends there with them both sharing the fact of like getting pictures and all that stuff. Marin goes to the house to take pictures of the grandfather and all that. It was really cute. I really liked it. See, dude, this is why I like My Dressed Up Darling, because it's just the epitome of two people enjoying hobbies together, enjoying their time together, and fueling each other's passion and support. This is why I like it. And I know a lot of people will come out and question it all the time, where it's just like, yes, I wanted to be out of high school. And you know what? I wish I did have, if anyone could point me to a college anime that does very similar to this, I'd watch it. I'd watch it and I'd praise it. But this show just does it so right and so well that it's just like, damn, like, it is good. It is producing like a good product, a good message, and a good feel. Like, it's like hard to ignore, man. The fact of like, you know, I want that type of relationship. Not even like with them, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, I want someone who I could share my passions and share my love and share my, like, I would love somebody if I got something for them, or like I got something and they nerded out with me for it. It's cute. It's nice. We all want that. Everyone deserves somebody that they could like, you know, get excited for something, whether it's like something simple like sports or working out, or even if like book collecting, coin collecting, anything like that, dude. Like, you deserve somebody like that in your life. I'm getting sappy, so we should move on. I'm getting sappy, so we should move on. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is the newest episode of Sakamoto Days, and honestly, this is probably the most interested I've actually been in Sakamoto Days since the entirety of the run for this entire year. Because the whole episode is basically slur, which, by the way, for this entire time, I don't know why I wasn't paying attention. I thought it was slurm, but it was slur. So, fuck me, I guess. But Slur and his two like peoples, well, one peoples, the other one was technically undercover, going into the JAA and just completely destroying it. Just completely bodying everything and everybody in sight. And it was honestly really fucking cool. A lot better than I've seen in previous settings, and I think I just like how Slur handles himself along with his two goons. Those two are very good, and I like it. Someone who I also like a lot is the old man who's part of the Order, because oh, did he ball the fuck out. He is the most, like, I will admit, he is the most stereotypical like swordsman type, I feel like, but that man is extremely strong. That old man is weirdly strong for what he is. And that man, it's easy. I mean, the Order is the Order for the reason, right? The Order is the Order because they're strong, because they are people who the JAA has assigned to be basically top brass and top dog. That's why the girl who's part of the JAA was able to defeat the other criminal so super quick, and one of them just did it without even trying when he went to the cab. So this old dude who was able to go into the JAA and do it, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised that he was able to do this at all whatsoever. That man, he bodied And there is also a point where we do see Sakamoto and Slur interact. Obviously, we know that Sakamoto is somehow tied to Slur in some way, and we basically get that confirmation at some point that they do know each other. They have their fight, they're cool. Slur is keeping up with Sakamoto very easily. At one point, Slur does push Sakamoto to a point where he's just like, yeah, no, okay, I'm not holding back. Where he's like, he has that like malicious bloodline intent because he asked for his daughter. Now, I will say, later in the episode, Sakamoto does thank Shin for bringing him out of that trance because he was like, yeah, I got into like a very bloodlust moment, but like you were able to talk me out of it, and I appreciate that, Shin. Thank you very much. Now, while I will agree, 9 out of 10 times, that's good, because that's the whole point of the story, right? Sakamoto doesn't want to kill anybody. Sakamoto doesn't want to hurt anybody. He just wants he just wants his family to live a normal life without any of the issues that he had back when he was assassin. My thing is, if you're talking about my kid, you're gonna get sucked one way or another. That's just me personally, because I would sit there and I don't blame Sakamoto for wanting to kill that man. You threatened my daughter. You threatened my daughter. Do you expect me to hold back after that? Do you expect me to not, I don't know, want to at least kill you? Oh, I can't say that. Oh, I can't say that on YouTube. Do you want me to break the bricks off of you? Is that what you want? Is that what you want me to do? Is that what you want me to break the ever-living bricks off of you? Because I will do that. Don't mention, do not put my daughter's name in your mouth. And I get it for Sakamoto. See, I don't even have a daughter, but I feel that energy of like, don't speak ill. It's like if someone tried to say that about like my little brother or my little cousin. Don't do that. Don't speak ill. Don't threaten. You will get hurt. You will get demolished. You will be put 6 feet underground. So I don't blame Sakamoto. I get he doesn't want to do it for his family. He doesn't revert back to his old self for his family's sake. And I get that. That's a good family man. But man, don't speak ill on the family, especially the child. Especially the child. And then eventually everyone gets involved, man. Old man who's fighting one of the Slur goons, they go through, they're having their own action. We see old man popping off, and then eventually one of the goons just blows himself up, and they get away. So the JAA got attacked, they did their accomplishments. I don't think they were looking for the upside down tipsy toppy that they were looking for, but they definitely made their impact. Sakamoto's in the hospital, he tries to get more information, and obviously now his new goal, now that the criminals that came to Japan are basically dealt with, is to go and deal with Slur. See, my question is, and I don't know if anybody else brought it up at all. Not like me, but if someone brought it up like at the podcast or something, you know what I'm talking about. What happened to the villain? To the criminal who paired up with the Sakamoto family or the Sakamoto team? Because that dude just got bodied instantly and was like needing to recover. So I'd like to check up on him. He came along with Sakamoto and Shin, so it's like, oh, what happened with him? What happened with him? Because honestly, I would actually, I've sat on it, I would be okay if he actually joined them as like someone trying to change. That'd be cool. And he also has a good power, and I like string users because string users are cool. So if they get a string user and he's able to get better, Sakamoto days might have me. Sakamoto days might have you. You got a string user in your anime? Oh, top five. Oh, that's all you need. String user, 5. Top 5. No, I'll eat it all. But yeah, overall, in terms of this whole episode, yeah, I think I'm starting to get more into it. I mean, we're only like what? This episode like 18, 17. We're only like like over halfway. But I am at a point now where I am enjoying it more than I am frustrated. I still think the pacing of this show is god awful. I still think the pacing of Sakamoto Days is not great, but I am at least enjoying myself a lot more, learning more about Slur, learning more about the JAA, seeing the order actually be in action. It has been fun. This is the most fun I think I've had with Sakamoto Days in the 2 seasons that I've watched it, so I am super excited and super happy to watch more. The next anime we're going to be talking about is City the Animation, and honestly this one is going to be fairly short. It was just kind of another mishmash of stories, which to be fair, I don't mind those. I appreciate those. It's nice to see the whole world interact with everybody in a different way, and I appreciate it now. I really do, because it makes the world feel alive, and obviously that's what you get from a slice of life. There were some funny ones. I like the beginning one where the main girl who lost her locket is interacting with the soccer team, and while she's trying to get them to apologize because they hit her a bunch of times with soccer balls, and they just can't get it. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember more. There are more, because I know there's stuff that happens where what do you call them? The editor for the manga for, I think it was called what was the manga called in that anime? It's like Mr. Burden or Mr. something. I think the other, like, they get like a new manga that's very similar to Mr. Bummer, and it's called Mr. Happy. And they have their own interaction where it's just like, oh, you know, it's a good one, but they're trying to start the magazine, and that spins off to finding out that one of the girls makes the magazine, and they're like, okay, cool, you want to be a part of our like serialization, and tricks her where it's like, ha, you drink our tea, that means that you have to join our publication, which means you have to be a part of our magazine. And she's just like, wait, hold on, that doesn't make sense. Okay, well, I guess that's the rule. It's like, girl, you know that's not true. Whatever. But like, there's other little stories that there's cute. It's hard to talk about an anime like this week to week, because there's so many little stories about all many different people, and they're all fun and they're all cool. But I guess that's just the problem in general with slice of life. Unless it like leads to something more, there's really not much else. The only one that I said was the one that I think like is the best one is that we finally see those two high school girls, and one of them finally telling her like, hey, I have to move away. Like, I think she's going to, it's either Hawaii or oh no, she's going to the UK. I knew it was some type of island place, but yeah, it was like, hey, I'm going to the UK in like a few days. My family's moving away, so like, you know, like, let's spend time. And the girl's like hiding in a pumpkin because she's like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm just a pumpkin person, nobody else, it's fine. But obviously when her friend takes it off, she's crying a lot, and they both cry, and that's where the episode ends. I'm like, oh, of course you had to end in a somber fucking moment, you bastards. But no, it was sad because you see them do all this stuff, and obviously they're close, and obviously they do stuff, so it's like, that's sad. Like, I felt that. Like, we all felt that of just like when like you're that young and you've spent so much time with somebody, it does feel like the world. So it feels like my world is going away and I don't have anybody. So I don't blame her for feeling sad. That was definitely like that hurt a lot, and I felt it and I felt it in my soul. So I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad. It was definitely like damn. So yeah, that I mean, I don't have much else analysis for City the animation. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna be one of those short ones where it's just like, hey, you have to talk about this anime. Okay, I don't think I've ever gotten over. I might be wrong, but I don't think I've ever gotten over like 5 minutes talking about City the animation. Maybe last week, I know maybe that might have been like the tower episode, but when like it's everyone interacting in an overarching episode, that's different. But when it's these little stories, it's just like, yeah, there's not much substance, and a lot of them they're fun, but they're not really one home to write about, so it's like, whatever. I mean, just me doing this yapping is me milking that video, so I mean, yeah. So it's better if we just try to move on, and yeah. Yeah, just move on. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4. We are done with the Silfeld arc and all that stuff being dealt with, and now we are on to the Quinton Low. I don't know how to pronounce these names, but we are on that arc, and we're at like the beginning of it where Naofumi is basically deciding who he wants to bring, who he wants to tag along, and all that sort. Obviously, of course, he brings his main girls, Raftalia, Philo, of course. He brings the Orca girl, who I mean, you kind of have to bring her at this point. He also brings the dragon, which I don't know if there's any Shield Hero fans that are in the comment section, whether this be the clip channel or the main podcast. When was the dragon able to talk? When did the dragon start talking? I don't remember this. It might have been back in season 2. I genuinely don't remember. But I thought he still had his like cute little squeaky voice. That brother was talking with a deep black man voice. Well, maybe not black man, but he had a very deep voice. When did that happen? When the fuck did that happen? Someone tell me, please. Cause I was baffled. I had to pause the episode. Cause I heard and then he was like, the demons that are going to Quinton Low are going to be very difficult. I was like, whoa, brother, when did you get that deep of a voice? Did he always have this voice? Somebody let me know in the comments, because that threw me off. But yeah, I did call it. He was also going to bring one of the cardinal heroes, of course. Now, I thought he was going to bring the sword hero, but he's actually bringing the spear hero along with the green-haired girl, who I guess is by the spear hero side again. So, oh shit, oh, that gave me a heart attack. I thought I heard a noise outside my room. That's funny. But yeah, no, I was really accurate on who I thought was going to come. I think Atla and, oh, I forget the brother's name. I want to say it's Flo, but I don't think it is. It might be. Oh, it might be because it's close to Philo, so it might be Flo. But Atla and Flo, they came as well, which I guess they got stronger now, so they could be part of that like core shield hero group. Which, I mean, they are also royalty as well, which also makes sense. But you know what? I didn't catch it either. I'll make a comment on it at the end. Because it kind of ties back into everything else that my whole thing that basically got me towards the end. Also, my apologies. I said spear hero. It wasn't the spear hero. It was the bow hero that's going with Naofumi and the rest of the team. The spear hero is still around taking care of all the other people in the village. And at this point, I don't even know if they know at this point, because Naofumi and the rest of them keep mentioning that they haven't gotten attacked by Quintilo yet in a very long time. And they're like, I wonder why people from Quintilo aren't coming. That's kind of weird. But I realized, like, we get this in the first episode where we see the spear hero just being a crackhead and taking care of every single Quintilo assassin that tries to come to the village. But then on top of that, like, they mentioned the fact that that they don't know why they haven't come yet. And I didn't catch on to that after the second time we see the spear hero. I think the spear hero is just doing it without the knowledge of Naofumi and the rest of the group, because I remember the spear hero was on some crash out shit. Not crash out, but his mind is definitely broken from a lot of problems. But I think he's not properly a part of the village. I think he's doing his own thing somewhere else. But I think he followed them because of Philo. And I think he's just protecting the village because Philo's at the village, so he's just been taking care of all the Quintilo assassins. I didn't even realize that they didn't know, and they still don't know. So that's a funny bit. That's a funny bit, being like, we're seeing Naofumi and the rest of the village being like, why haven't they come? And then it cuts to Dead of Night, where we do see Quintilo assassins, and the spear hero just comes out like the crackhead he is, and just blowing up everything. Also, how is that the case? They don't know. They must hear the explosions, right? I might be going insane. There's no way they don't know. There's no way that they don't know. I refuse to believe that, because the spear hero explosions are basically on the level of Megumi from Konosuba. There's no way you're not gonna convince me you don't hear that. They're pretty close too. Maybe they know and they're just ignoring the fact, or maybe they just assume he's just being a weirdo by himself. I don't know. I'm surprised they don't know. But the rest of the episode is pretty straightforward. They stop at Siltfeld to get a bunch of supplies. Apparently, I guess there's some people that don't like the spear hero still, which, to be fair, with the exception of the shield hero, the rest of the cardinal heroes were kind of assholes to like everybody. So I kind of understand why people don't want to trust them. It's that one time when I'm like, judgment is warranted because you guys were kind of assholes. Spear hero was a dick. Sword hero was too up his ass, and the spear hero was just easily manipulated. He was just really easily manipulated. But yeah, after that, we see them go through like the area, try to get to Quintilo. There's a bunch of whirlpools. They get attacked, and it seems that Naofumi, Raphtalia, the Orca Lady, and the dragon all get kind of sucked into a whirlpool by the water dragon. And now they're brought into a cave that has like those weird red pillars that are supposed to be like entrances for the gods in Japanese lore. And they have like a crystal that's like, oh, you need to restore it. And you're like, okay, this is where we start going off. So the dragon is able to use a dragon stone in order to talk and get information, and they basically drop lore where you need to help reform like the country again, because the country has like this shield over it that's been protecting it for a long time, and the shields have been kind of fucked. And it's like, oh yeah, Raphtalia, apparently your family was in charge of that. And like, I have zero clue about what the fuck this is. Then they're like, okay, well, the water dragon wants us to fix this. Okay. And so when they leave, they're just like, oh, I was like, wait a minute, why does this look familiar? And then they go out and they see the cherry blossom trees. There's like, oh yeah, those are special like sakura trees that only grow in this region. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And then they go off and they're just like, oh yeah, here we're at Quinton Low. It looks so beautiful. Look at all the trees and all that stuff. Look at the water, because it's basically a bunch of islands and it's covered by a protective shield. This sounds like Genshin Impact in Azuma. Am I not wrong about that? And I only say that because I didn't realize it at first, but the intro of season 4 for Rising of the Shield Hero has someone that looks like Retalia using a sword and all that stuff. And I thought that was just Retalia and how like a new sword style she was going to have. But now that I realize, oh no, she still has the long sword with the armor and stuff like that. And we see a glimpse of the Emperor that is at Kutenlo. And it looks like she's being manipulated, similar to how Rain Shogun was being talked with by the of Signora, and that lady looks evil. And so it's like, what is happening? Bro, okay, I'm not saying that this is copying Inazuma, because this probably came out first. It's probably some light novel stuff. I'm just saying that there are too many similarities to Genshin Impact's Inazuma with this part of the season. There just is. I'm sorry, I want to say that there isn't, but there is. It's a shit ton. There's a lot, dude. Like, if I go into this and I hear something about like, oh, they're taking their powers and the Emperor is not actually the Emperor, blah, 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 blah. It's actually her stand-in or puppet type thing. And they have like a friend who's trying to help her, being like, I've known the Emperor for a long time. Like, there's no way. There's no way. There's too many similarities. I don't want to believe it, and I'm not going to believe it. But the next couple of episodes are going to be very damning, because if I see those similarities, like if I see that there's a girl who wants to help at a tea shop and all that stuff, if I see like a oh my god, I forget, but it's the ice girl that's really like, I don't know, I haven't played Genshin Impact in a minute, seriously, but she's like pretty strong from what I remember. I forget her name. I think it's like Aiko or something like that. But holy shit, if that's the case, brother, we're gonna have to have a long conversation on this podcast on this topic. Because wow, that was a lot of similarities to Inazuma. And to be fair, it might just be like the standard like fantasy thing of just like, hey, it's Japan in a fantasy world, so like we're gonna make Japan in a fantasy world, and that's the case. That's fine, I understand that. But dude, oh fuck, no, there's some I'm not gonna. There's enough similarities that make me think about it, but I'm not gonna say it's copying it until I see some things. But for right now, holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is Panty and Stalking, the newest episode, which is not a multi-episode episode. It is one long episode, all surrounded around finally getting the introduction of the twins, the male angel twins that we saw in the trailers all those times ago. And I gotta say, this episode was sick, because we get Panty and Stalking. They're obviously doing their Panty and Stalking thing, and their cousins come down and they're just like, hey, listen, you've been pretty irresponsible with the things that you've been doing. It seems like your guys are going to no longer be angels. You can't, well, not no longer be angels, but it's like your licenses are revoked for doing anything. We're totally not going to allow you to do any of this stuff because you guys are just problematic and not great. And so they take their licenses and stuff, or rather, Garter Belt tries to suck up to the twins by taking the licenses, which he's just like, I mean, I get it at the same time. It's like, oh yeah, like I get to meet this, like some holy like angels, and you know, maybe move up the ranks of heaven and move up the ranks of religion. But also like, Garter Belt, you untrustworthy bitch. After all those years of helping out the girls, you switch up teams like that. You are a fool. And they come down, they wreak havoc almost immediately. They got all this high-tech stuff that they're able to use to better themselves when it comes to dealing with Panty and Stalking. They put the demons out of commissions for a little bit. Like, it's a whole ordeal. And obviously after they go away and they do the cleanup of the city, because they realize how many just demons have been running amok the entire time, Panty and Stalking's like, well, we gotta upgrade our shit and we gotta do better, because hell no, we ain't gonna let these cousins of ours run amok in the city and do some shit. And I swear on my life, this whole entire episode is just pure freak, because they find this backwater alley place to get like any type of like assistance and stuff like that, or like the little gadgets similar to what their cousins have. But it's a friend of Brief's who is also like part-time angel but also part-time human, but she makes like these bootleg angel devices that still work the same. And so like obviously she's giving them to the girls for like some price, like buy now pay later stuff, like the Klarna. They're basically Klarnering all these things, which is just like, I see, okay, that's funny, I get what they're trying to do. But yeah, like it basically just turns into a whole battle of trying to clean it up. And honestly, this shit was fun. I still think the episode where they're dealing with like the space intruder, and it's the animation changes from like the regular like cartoonish Western style with anime style as well to like the 80s like cartoon comic style. I thought that episode was still probably the best animated one, or at least the best stylized one. This one is definitely the better animated one because God, they go so hard. Everybody's fighting demons. Everybody's going all out. All the sisters are fighting. They're fighting the cousins. They're doing all this stuff. It is genuinely such a fun episode to watch because they just go super balls to the wall with them also showing off the transformation for the cousins, which, my God, that transformation was fine as hell. Those cousins, oh, I let them step on me. But also as well, the grand finale is just this massive big ball of demons where it's just like, oh, whoever is able to defeat that one wins. Which, by the way, this has all been like some one big contest of trying to get the most coins, and whoever gets the most coins wins. And it's like, it just gets insane because the cousins then do like a little bratty crash out, and they just start buying a bunch of weapons from the Heaven store. They buy like attachments upon attachments upon attachments for their guns and cannons. The Demon Girl sisters do the same exact thing. The Panty Stocking do the exact same thing. And eventually they realize, okay, we probably got to team up on the cousins in order to actually, win. And they do the most, like, I don't use this word because I think it's dumb, but it's the most appropriate thing. They do the most, like, cunty thing. They do the most, which, cunty in this context is good. Cunty in this context is good. But, brother, my God, it was fabulous. It was flamboyant. It was, bro, I loved every moment of watching that. I was like, oh, they went so hard. They went so hard, and it looked so good. It's so awesome. Everything about it was great. Everything about it was great. The joke was also funny because the cousins crash out over losing, only to find out, I forget which like figure in Christianity they're supposed to be related to, but a hand comes down and grabs them. It's just like, what are you guys doing? You guys are unauthorized to be down here. And they're just like, oh, so you came down here on your own will. I see. Well, don't worry about it, uncle. You're fine. Garter Belt also trying to suck up to the god as well, which fair, makes sense, I get it. But they end up getting a bunch of coins, and so they're rich. Unfortunately, they bought a lot of attachments and bought a lot of things in order to use. So the girl from the back alley angel store comes to pick up her bets and comes to pick up her stuff, and all the girls are broke again. Honestly, this is why we love Panty and Stocking. It's fun, it's stupid, it's creative, it's awesome, it doesn't give a flying fuck about what you think about it. It's just pure awesome fun, and that's why we love it. We love it. That's why we love it. That's why we care about it. That's why it's awesome. That's why it's great. That's why it's cool. It's because we love Panty and Stocking. Panty and Stocking is great. The next anime that we're going to be talking about is the newest episode for Kaiju number 8, and of course, it starts with the tragic end of the loss for the Defense Force commander, which was Shinomiya, or Shinomiya's dad. The newest episode basically starts us off where we ended, where it's Nanami, Shinomiya, and Kafka all trying to rescue the commander from the grasp of Kaiju number 9. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. They try their best, both Nanami and Kafka both try to give their all, and it just doesn't fully work, unfortunately. And it sucks. It really does. They do have a very somber, what is it? Oh, they do have a very somber memorial for him, grieving for him, all that stuff. And I do understand a lot more. I said it before with the serious tone, but man, I will say this was such a good episode just because of the tonal shift, which shows that they can do serious stuff, which also makes me think, damn, what if we just got this whole seriousness, like this level of seriousness in there. Like, there is arguments to be made, right? On one hand, the reason why the seriousness for this stands out is because we've been having jokes throughout the entire, like, a lot of the first season and part of the second, which is where it doesn't feel like people are taking it seriously. Where it's like, yeah, everyone's obviously taking it seriously, but the level of gravitas when it comes to having to be in the Defense Force was never really matched with the way that people would act in the Defense Force. But now we see people are grieving, people are dealing with stuff. It feels like very heavy and very somber. It's one of the first times we really see Kaiju number 8 get into that level. And it was really good. And it makes you think, if we had this the entire time, would it be good? Now, there is also a side argument to that, where you could say that if it was like this the entire time, the impact of that moment would not feel the strength. Because like I said before, it's also parallel with the fact that we had a bunch of hilarious moments, and now characters who we've seen be hilarious now have a bit more weight to them, because now we're seeing them being serious. We see that contrast and that delineation, which I will say it is good that they made that delineation. I appreciate it, and I think that it is a very good thing to do at a time like this. So yes. Now this other part, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, because we see everyone grieving and trying to put themselves up because of this. Shinomiya is trying to train herself to get better, try to train within the month so Nanami can take her back on the field to deal with Kaiju number 9. Kafka goes to see his old crewmates again back at the Kaiju cleanup sector, which I don't remember if this was in the anime or not. I feel like I don't remember, because I feel like they stray very much away from the cleaning sector after that. So if this was an anime original bit, I think it's good. I think it does help with the fact of, like, oh yeah, Kafka is changing. He's changing into a kaiju, and he might not be able to fully come back from it. Now, I don't think he is able to, I don't think it's a situation where he'll be bad. I think his mind will still be there in context for stuff. I haven't finished the manga, so I really don't know how full it goes. But I think there is a level of give that this anime does put into the show with its emotions. And I think it's doing a kind of good balancing act, but it does make me wonder, if we got the seriousness the entire time, how would that compare to like what we have now? But yeah, like I said as well, the added of the going to the cleanup crew was also a nice touch. Seeing him basically collect his things and enjoy the last little bit of, you know, actual human life he might have, as Nanami and him sit down and have a conversation where Nanami's like, you do understand, like, you're constantly transforming. We can't necessarily allow you to be on the Defense Force, but we also need you, and we need to deal with this stuff. And I know you're somebody who knows the consequences and really doesn't give a fuck about what's going to happen. And then Kafka basically sits there and is like, yep, I basically am there with you guys. So it seems like we're setting up for some big stuff. And at the end, we see glimpses of everybody else training at different sectors. Now, I do hope we get some time for that, because I think we focus on them a little bit. Again, the big one I do know is that we do get a lot of focus on Kafka's friend. I think it was Ino or Iko or something like that, along with the redheaded dude who was attached to him. So Kafka's friend's buddy, partner type stuff, and all their training and whatnot. So we'll be able to see all that. That's why I hope the next 2 episodes are at the very least. Oh, not at the very least. At most, 1 episode going over where everybody is right now, and then the other episode focusing slowly on those 2 other people that I mentioned, Kafka's friend, and then his partner that he was partnering with, dude with the shark teeth, and the redhead as well. But yeah, honestly, good episode. We're kicking it into gear with this season, man. Next anime that we have on the docket is The Summer Hikaru Died, and part of me is, there's a lot to talk about. I feel like there's a lot to talk about in this episode. So let's get into just like the summary and talking about everything that's been happening. Obviously, this episode comes after the whole attack after that Hikaru did against Asuki, I think her name was. And so both Hikari and the ending for that episode came where Hikari was walking out of his house only to see that, oh wow, I forget the main boy's name, but our main boy, oh my, okay, give me a second. Sorry, had a little bit of a burp there. It's hot, man, it's hot. Okay, so Hikaru was walking out of his house at the end of the last episode and saw that Yoshiki was outside, still willing to greet him. And this one, as they're walking to the school direction, Hikari can already feel that something might be a bit up, but Yoshiki tells him that it's fine, it's okay, it's whatever, it's, you know, it's yada yada yada. And so the whole episode is just them going out, watching a movie, getting some stuff, just chilling out, all that things, right? while his friends wonder where Hikari and Yoshiki went as they have the performance at school, and he ends up calling his mother, and we see clips of like his mom and his sister, we see clips of his dad working, and his friends all just kind of living their lives normally. While Yoshiki is kind of stuck with Hikari, who's now obviously this entity. And I think it was supposed to show the duality of them just living normal lives, and Yoshiki just not really able to do that, now having the knowledge that he knows about Hikari. So they spend the whole day together, they do cool stuff, like, and there is a point where where Yoshiki calls his mom, telling him like, hey, just know that, you know, I care about you and I care about dad, which, if my son called me about that, I feel like that would ring alarm bells, but I guess not for this family. But yeah, Yoshiki and Hikari spend the whole day together. Yoshiki gets him some toys, buys him some stuff, they go eat ice cream, and there's this not somber moment, but this like moment of like care of like, hey Yoshiki, like at some point we should go see the ocean. And Yoshiki's like, yeah, it's a deal, man, we'll go see the ocean. And what happens is they go back to Yoshiki's house where they're like, oh yeah, like they sent us the performance of the recording, the recording of the performance, you should watch it. And while he's watching it, Yoshiki actually pulls out a knife from his bag and attempts to kill Hikari, which now also confirms this entity that has taken over Hikari's body can't be killed so easily. And so Yoshiki falls to the floor and he's just like, yep, I knew this wasn't gonna happen, so if I can't kill you, then I need you to kill me, because something has to happen. And so Hikari comes to this moment where he's like, okay, Yoshiki's not mad. He's perplexed, but he's not mad, because he's trying to understand why Yoshiki would even do this, right? If there's anything that we can say about this entity that's now Hikari, he is an entity that at least tries to process or thinks about stuff, as long as Yoshiki at least tries to bring them up. And so he's thinking about it where it's like, okay, obviously, the idea of life in this body, or this version of life for them, matters enough that he would try to attempt to kill me in order to sustain that life. So obviously there's a point here where it matters. There's a point here where it's like, you know, they care about this type of entity. And so Hikari's just like, listen, I don't understand, I don't know if I will understand. And it kind of circles back to what Yoshiki said a couple episodes where he's like, that's right, this Hikari, he doesn't know much. He's like a baby bird. I gotta teach him things, and I'm trying to teach him things, but it's harder than I thought it was, because I'm trying to basically teach an entity that already has a certain way of thinking, its own form, like the form of like human life, and like how precious that is. And so it's this weird cycle where Yoshiki acknowledges that what he's doing is bad, that he shouldn't indulge in it, and that he shouldn't like go ahead with it, right? But there's something about him, whether it's still the memory of Hikari, or it's this idea that he had some type of responsibility to this entity to actually try to keep it alive. And I feel like now is the point where we're going to start actually going down a really dark path, because Hikari shows that he's like, listen, I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want to hurt people if you're saying that that's bad, because hurting people hurts you. So what he does is that he takes a piece of himself and he actually gives it to Yoshiki, because Hikari goes off and he's like, listen, if I take this is half of my, like a half of a piece of me, where I'll still be able to live and still be able to do stuff, but I won't be able to hurt people as easily as I would in my full body. And so he's like, this is basically my sign to you to tell you that I don't want to hurt anybody. And I think with that confirmation, Yoshiki kind of accepts this, but also seems like they might go on a dark path of, okay, well, we need to understand what you are. Because a big part of that is, like, I can't really understand life because I don't even understand myself. How am I supposed to understand the importance of a human life and the importance of what that is if I don't even fully understand what I am? Like, yes, I'm in Hikari's body, and yes, as this form I am Hikari, but I'm not really Hikari, but I also don't even know what I was before then. I was just something that didn't even really have a conscience. Like, but now I do have a conscience, I do have this, I do have that, I have all these things. And so Yoshiki mentions, like, okay, well, if that's the case, and you don't know what you are, and I don't know what you are, and we don't really have a good idea in order for you to know what you are, we're gonna have to do some tests. And the episode ends in just a super creepy way where we see like the screen flickering and the body of Hikari slowly devouring Yoshiki. Almost like, not actually, but almost in a way where it feels like instead of Yoshiki bringing him over to Hikari's side, it feels like Yoshiki, in order for himself to keep sane, is slowly assimilating himself to the mindset of Hikari, which I think is dangerous as shit, but it does make for compelling television. So yeah, I will say it will be very interesting to see what type of just like mindset and thought process both Hikari and Yoshiki try to do with these type of tests. I have no idea I don't have idea what the plan is. I don't have idea what they're trying to do. All I know is that they want to do some type of plan. And it's gonna be very interesting. Again, this anime, man, so good. Makes you really think. I still have yet to really grasp the full idea of what they're trying to accomplish here. I don't know if it's the idea of what it means to be human, and or like the idea of life, or like the idea of something. I feel like they're trying to do a lot of things, but I think that's the only issue that I'm having with really understanding the goal for this show. But I am enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. I think it's been good, and it's a real thinker. It's not to the point where I'm confused. It's more of like a thinking process of like, you've given me a lot to chew on with the material you give me, and that's for almost like every episode so far. So I have been enjoying it, and I'm gonna keep enjoying it because it's been good. Next on the docket of anime, we have Gachiakuta, which this one was a pretty like straightforward, simple episode. It felt really fast, honestly, for this one, but there wasn't to it. I think this is episode 5, 6, I think it is, whichever one we're gonna be talking about. But it's not the newest one, because remember, it's Saturday, so that means we'll be talking about it this week. But we'll most likely also not be talking about. Oh no, we'll be an episode behind. So whatever the newest episode is at the time of this recording, or the time this podcast comes out, we are an episode behind that. But the episode starts with, oh my god, wait, why do I keep forgetting his name? Okay, hold on. I know what happens in the episode, and I'm really bad with names. I don't want to pull like oh yeah, like his name is the title. So give me a second to confirm that. I don't remember. Okay, see, I didn't want to be stupid. Okay, it was Rudo. Okay, it's Rudo. God. All right. So Rudo is having his whole celebration. He's not technically a part of the cleaners, but they're just having like a welcome party. Obviously, at some point he's gonna join the cleaners. It's just a big boss man isn't there yet, so he's still just kind of like there. But they have a whole little celebration. We see other members like Engine and the Scissor Girl and his apprentice, and I think the support that he was talking to, I think his name is Shadow, I think it is, I can't remember. But they're all showing their appreciation, and we see the little core group that he'll be running with the most part. And then the rest of the episode is basically just them going on a mission. Rudo goes on a mission with his apprentice to deal with what was supposed to be a trash beast that took a spearite. And so he's like, oh, maybe I can get answers to see if there was another spearite. Obviously, it was a trap, and they are caught up by raiders. And his his trainer is like, okay, everyone go up because we just got ambushed. Get away. I'll deal with it. And we see the raiders have some pretty cool powers with their giver abilities. One lady has a shovel where she can manipulate mud. The other dude, I think he's just a strong guy for some reason, but they're very quickly defeated. And that's like kind of the whole episode. Like, it's one of those like, oh, he's having a problem, and then he figures it out. We see his technique where he can feel the vibrations of like the earth, and he takes them out pretty quickly, and that's where the episode ends. Realistically, there is not much to report on this episode, because that's pretty much it. I'm kind of surprised. Each other episode had at least a little bit more to talk about. Like, obviously I can go into the details of like what happens play by play, but like, I mean, like, it really does. It's not like the last episode where like we see the girl's powers for the first time, and we see that Rudo's mentality changes and how they interact with like the supporters. We already kind of have that basis, so this is just more introducing us to the whole raider aspect of Gachiakuta, which I still don't completely understand. I guess they are people who like attack. I guess, well, we do explain. They're like there's originally civil raiders who just go and like get stuff from the trash, and clean up things, but now their tactics have become a little bit dubious, and now the cleaners kind of have to deal with them alongside everything else, which is kind of annoying. But like, that's pretty much it for the episode. It wasn't a remarkable episode. It's still had fun watching it because I just like the world, I like the characters, I like the design, I like what they do. It was just kind of like, I remember like sitting there and being like, oh, it's over. Okay. I felt like we were supposed to get more. I mean, that's a good thing and bad thing, right? Because on one hand, the episode went pretty fast and you kind of like that, but at the same time, I felt like it was very insufficient for an episode. It felt like there was kind of nothing except for the one fight. I mean, it was cool to get the fight and stuff like that. Like, we got a little bit of action, so obviously I was entertained by that. It's just like, I felt like there wasn't much substance or exploration there. Like, we're only in episode 5 of a new IP being animated. I feel like they could have at least done something a little bit more. But I mean, I guess we drop the ability that the people who are in the cleaners are not the only people in the world that have the powers, right? That's like a big part of it. But other than that, like, it's whatever. Like, it's whatever. It was a fine episode. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of like, well, okay. And our final anime that we have is With You and the Rain. Hold on, let me make sure this is actually the final anime. Okay, yes, this is in fact our final anime, which is good because it is hot and I want to turn my hands at con. But basically, With You in the Rain, episode 7. This is I think this was just an episode of just daily stuff that they did, because usually we'll either have one or two like surrounding things of them just doing stuff, but this was like a rapid fire of stuff where it was just like quite literally a page turner because they used that effect in this. But it's stuff like her cutting up fruit and her doing that, them going to the store to get the Tanuki dog thing, more pens. There was stuff like her writing her novel, the Tanuki dog getting upset that Fuchan called him big. Just a bunch of stuff like that. Oh, them seeing that they were like a little lonely. It was a little bunch of cute stuff, which like this episode definitely felt like the episode where it's just like, hey, we got a lot of ideas, but we may not have like a lot of time for the episode. I feel like we're definitely getting the feel of just like, it's the 12 episode anime, we ain't getting the second season. All right, cram every small inconceivable idea that the anime does have and just put into one episode. Which, to be fair, if that is the extent of it, like, we don't need like half an episode for some of these. Like the fruit one, that we didn't need a lot, where it's just like, oh, they're contemplating stuff like that. There's one where like she's doing yoga and he's on top. There's one where like he's trying to jump across the bed to try to be like wake her up, and like that doesn't need like 15 minutes at all. Like, it would have been cute to see, but like that didn't need 15 minutes. So like, I kind of get it. I kind of get the concept. I mean, it's still cute, obviously. The show is still cute, still adorable. I like watching them. This is just, again, I leave this last because it is just a nice palate cleanser for stuff, right? It's just a nice, like, oh yeah, it's an anime. You just see a woman and her cute little Tanuki dog thing just interact. Probably the cutest one, honestly, out of this whole episode with a bunch of stories is the fact of like that we see Fuchan wear the hat for the first time, and even the dog's like, oh, a Tanuki dog. I refuse to call it a dog. No, we're not doing that. Jesus. But yeah, Fuchan wears a hat, and the Tanuki dog is like, hey, that's a cool hat. Let me wear it. And she's just like, oh no, it's a hair. Also, you have the leaf. The leaf look cute. And the first time we see him throw the leaf, and he's like, no, I want the hat. And so she's like, okay, you can wear the hat. And though she sees him with the hat, and she's like, oh, do you want a carrot? And he eats a carrot, and it was cute. It was cute. It was a cute little thing. But yeah, nothing to write home about. Again, I say it all the time. It's just a nice little palate cleanser, a nice little homey feeling body thing. It has good music. The opening's good. The ending's good. I'll say it all the time. It's a nice little palate cleanser, and if you just want an anime to feel good, this is anime to feel good. And that will do it for this week. Obviously, we won't be talking about spring stuff because the spring stuff is either coming out on Sunday or it's been delayed. So let's rapid fire this because I am hot and I need to wrap this up. Again, it's probably a shorter episode than it is before, but again, it's hot and we don't have much to talk about. So let's go ahead and let's fire up those callouts. Remember, I have a main channel while I do reviews. I have a review coming out every Monday now that I don't have this podcast on that, so go check that out. Go check out Infinitycast. It's the people that allow me to continue this series in a very well-adjusted manner. They are amazing people. We got some stuff coming out. We'll be talking about some events coming out soon. So go subscribe to that channel and check out the website. All of that is also in the link in the description below. I also will have an album coming out soon, or like I'm dropping music soon. I don't know when the album's coming out, but I will be dropping singles. shows. So look out for that stuff. I will be sharing that very soon. And of course, let me know what you think about this week in anime, what you liked, what you didn't like. Go ahead and drop all the comments down below. Please have a wonderful day, evening, morning, night, wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you in the next one. My name's been Mise. I'll see y'all later, and I love you guys. Peace!